Alrighty, we'll start with grammar on page 55. I gotta wake up my camera here. Doesn't want to do it. Let's see. Page 55. Okay. All right, coordinating conjunctions. We've already talked about those before. So I know you guys are already familiar with what those are. There's a couple comma rules that I want to go over with you with those, but remember fanboys, that's the acronym for those coordinating conjunctions. So right here, it just says, and these are what each letter stand for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. That's fanboys. And then we learned 3 comma rules already, but we're going to learn the 4th one today. So the first example here says Shere Khan fed the cubs leftovers, scraps, and bones. So obviously when there's 3 things listed, you need commas between A, B, and it gives you a little note here in the margin, A, comma, B, comma, and C. If there's only 2 things like this example, the cubs were noisy and hungry, then there's no comma, A and B. And then you also know this one, Shere Khan fed the cubs, or this one actually might be a new one to you, but Shere Khan fed the cubs, but he also mocked them. So the reason why there's a comma here, even though you're only talking about 2 things that he does, you'll notice that after that comma, you also have a subject and verb, mocked. So he mocked. So it says Shere Khan, that's the subject, fed is the verb, the cubs, but he, the subject, also mocked, the verb, them. So because those are 2 main clauses, you have to have a comma before the coordinating conjunction. Here's your note in the margin here. So whenever there are 2 full main clauses, you have to have a comma. But look how it is here. Shere Khan fed the cubs, but also mocked him. So this one does not have a subject. Only here at the beginning, Shere Khan is the subject. He fed, and he also mocked. So because those are, it shows the example here in the margin, main clause, CC, second verb, because they're connecting 2 different verbs here. So because there's not a subject in the second half of that, there's no comma there. It's only when you have 2 full main clauses, that's when you need a comma. And it's kind of reiterating that down here. It's saying, do not use a comma before a coordinating conjunction when it connects 2 verbs, main clause, CC, second verb. Use a comma before a coordinating conjunction when it connects 2 main clauses. And those main clauses, remember, have a subject and verb. So MC, CC, or there's a comma there, CC, MC. And then you're just going to write CC above the coordinating conjunction and remove a comma before a CC that connects 2 verbs. Add a comma before the CC that connects 2 main clauses. So here again, excuse me, your example, Mowgli knew of Shere Khan's hatred, but was not afraid. In this one, you have only 1 subject. And then you have those 2 verbs. He knew and he was. So that's why we remove the comma. It's 1 big main clause connecting 2 verbs together. Here is another example. Shere Khan hated Mowgli, but Mowgli was not afraid. So obviously there's 2 main clauses here. We've got subject verb and then subject verb again. So that's why we do put a comma there before the coordinating conjunction. That's the rule. That's the new rule you guys are going to start looking for. Do you have any questions about that page? Okay. There's a little more on the back. This is page 56. We talked about the VSS opener last time in class. Here it is again. And we aren't using it yet in our writing, but we will. This is coming as an opener, but now it's another opener for you to watch out for in this book. It's the VSS, which is very short sentence. VSS opener is a very short sentence. Very short means 2 to 5 words. Sentence means it must have a main clause. So here we have Shere Khan roared. Only 3 words long, but it does have a subject and a verb. So that makes it a main clause. Here, you're going to mark it with a 6. And in the book, they usually want you to put VSS next to it, even though you're putting a 6 there. So here's how you would label it: as a main clause, subject, verb, and then label it with a 6. So I think you know all 6 now, right? I think so. Let me just take a peek really quick here at the front. Remember this, this part at the beginning? I think I showed you this in the other class last time, but if you go to the beginning of your book under scope and sequence, there's no page number here, but where it says stylistic techniques. We used this last time. And, oh no, we have a couple we haven't learned yet. So it looks like we learned subject opener week 2, prepositional opener week 3, adverb opener week 5. And then we have very short sentence. So we still have clausal and ing left. So yeah, 2 more left. But remember, this is where you can look if you want to go back for a refresher. You can find out what week we talked about it and then find that week. And that will help you. Okay. Noun of direct address, another thing we learned last time, is NDA is a noun used to refer to someone directly. It names the person spoken to. Usually it's happening in quotes. Mowgli, comma, if you are wise, you will fear him, Bagheera said. So that's one way to put it. So Mowgli here is the noun of direct address. He's speaking to Mowgli. If you are wise, Mowgli, you will fear him, Bagheera said. So here it is, the noun of direct address is in the middle of the sentence, so you put commas around it. Here it is at the end. If you are wise, you will fear him, Mowgli, Bagheera said. So this is important to look at right here. It says, because a noun can perform only one function in a sentence, a noun of direct address is never the subject of the sentence. In these sentences, the noun of direct address is Mowgli, because this is the noun used to address Mowgli directly. The subject of the main clause is you. So looking back at this first one, Mowgli, if you are wise, you will fear him, Bagheera said. So Mowgli's the one, the noun of direct address, so it's not the subject. The subject is you. And it's wise is the verb, and will, fear, is the other verb here. Okay. And then there's a comma rule here. Place commas around the noun of direct address. That's a rule. Add commas to separate the noun of directed address from the sentence, just like we looked at. Mowgli, Shere Khan is dangerous, Bagheera warned. Do not include NDA in the main clause square brackets. That's when you're looking for a main clause, you don't include that noun of direct address. This will help you remember that the noun of direct address is not the subject of the sentence. So when you put brackets, don't include the noun of direct address, then you'll see the other subject inside there. Okay, so any questions about that? No? Okay. All right. So yeah, that stuff I think we went over last time in class mostly. Some of those comma rules might be new, but a lot of this is just more practice with what you already learned. Takes a while. Grammar is difficult. I went, you take grammar in high school, and then when you go to college, you're taking grammar again, and it's like, am I ever not going to have to take grammar? Someday you won't have to. Oops, I forgot my That's okay. Okay, Michaela, go ahead and read the sentence here, or sentences.
Urgently, Bagheera, who had eyes and ears everywhere, warned Mowgli. Shere Khan hate you and plan to harm you. How often have I told you this?
Yeah, that's awkward. There's a lot of things wrong with that one. Urgently is the vocabulary. Can you explain what urgently means?
Um, just like to do something quickly.
Yes, quickly and immediately, right? So good. That's the vocabulary. How about the nouns? It looks like there's no articles in here. So how about the 5 nouns?
Eyes,
Yes.
ears,
Yes.
Mowgli,
Yep.
Bagheera,
Yes.
Shere Khan,
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all of them. Pronouns.
who? Oh wait, no, it's not pronoun.
Oh, yeah, not that one.
I,
Yes, I is a pronoun.
you,
Yes.
you,
Yeah, there's another you here.
and then you.
And then you again. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm,
Oh, yeah, the last one's weird.
is it this?
It is this. Good. Pronoun this. That's one of those. Oh, what kind of pronoun is that? Do you remember what those are called?
No.
It's like, I always think of like a vague, oh, shoot, I'm drawing a blank on what those are called. But it's when it's like this or that or there, that type of a pronoun where it's vague, but it is actually referring to something here. And it's talking about what he already told him. So anyway, yes, you're correct. This is a pronoun. Good job. 2 coordinating conjunctions.
And an and?
Okay, and where's the other and? Here it is. Okay, good. Adverbs.
Urgently?
Yep.
Um, Everywhere?
Everywhere. Yep. Because that's telling where.
Um,
The last,
Had?
they're tough. Not had, but how. How is an adverb. And then
Hate?
no, that would be a verb, but to what extent? How to what extent?
Often?
There you go. Okay, good. Those were kind of tricky. We need to fix a usage here of hate because it doesn't sound right to say Shere Khan hate you. How can we fix that?
Hates you?
Yeah, hates. That's right. So we need to put an S on here because remember when it's a singular noun, the verb usually has an S after it. Okay, got to fix that. Let's see. There's another usage here and plan to hurt you or harm you. So instead of plan, what should we put here?
Planned?
No, we're going to keep it same tense as this one.
Oh, plans.
There you go, plans. Shere Khan plans. I'm sorry, Shere Khan hates you and plans to harm you. Good. So we got those usage out of the way. I wanted to make sure to get that. And then main clauses.
Um,
So we're not,
Bagheera, who had eyes and ears everywhere, warned Mowgli.
yes, that's one. Good. I was going to say, we're not going to put the ly
Yeah,
verb in there. That's one.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then Shere Khan hates you and plans to harm you.
Yes, and actually we need to put a punctuation there, so we'll put a period there. But yes, that's the end of that main clause. And the last one,
How often have I told you this?
good. Excellent. Okay, so which clause?
Um, who had eyes and ears everywhere?
Good. W/W. And then we've got our subject verb pairs here.
What do we start with? Verbs or something?
Yeah, I usually start with verbs because it's easier for me, but whatever makes sense to you.
Had,
Yes.
warned,
Yes.
harm,
Not harm.
oh,
What is he?
two.
Not two, but plans is one.
Oh, okay. Oh, I saw it marked and I thought it was already.
Oh, yeah, that's true because we just changed the word, so it did look like it was marked.
Told,
Yes, told. And another one here that's marked.
oh, hates,
Hates, yeah. I think that's all of them. Oh, have is also one. Have I told you? How often have I told you? So this is more of a linking verb. Let's see, is that all of them? Yeah, that's all the verbs. So now let's look for the subjects to go with those verbs.
Bagheera.
Yes.
Would it be who too?
Yes, that's right. Good job.
Um, Shere Khan,
Yes, Shere Khan.
and then Mowgli.
Not Mowgli.
Mm,
Look for that last main clause here. Have I told you, or who have told you, I guess you could say. Because you got the verbs have and told. So who are we talking? Who's the subject in that sentence that have and told?
Bagheera.
Just
Wait,
look within, yeah, just look within these brackets for the main clause. Because remember, every main clause has a subject verb pair.
so it's I.
Yes, so it's I. Good job. My cell phone is like blowing up here, so I just got to make sure. Okay, everything's good. You never know when it's like ding, ding, ding.
And then ly adverb for the other.
Good. Ly adverb. Yep. That's what number is that one?
I think 3.
Yes, good. Ly adverb. And of course, we need to indent. That's always like the first part here. So we'll put a paragraph symbol there. 7 capitals.
Urgently,
Yes.
and then Bagheera
Yes.
and Shere Khan.
Yep.
How
Yes.
Mowgli
Mowgli. Where's Mowgli at? Oh, yeah, here.
and oh I.
Yep. I think that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, that's it. Commas.
Um,
I'll tell you one of them we need to take out and then we need to put in 2 more. No,
take out the one after hates you.
yes, so 2 that you take out actually, and then 2 you put in. That's 1.
Urgently,
Yes.
and then everywhere, comma.
Everywhere. Yep. So around the who clause. So one right after Bagheera and then one after everywhere. That's right. Good. That's all the commas. Quotation marks. Who's speaking? Where does that go?
Shere Khan hates you.
Yes.
And then how often have I told you this? Are they separate though?
No, they're just one big, it's one big thing that he's saying. So it starts here at Shere Khan and it goes all the way to this. So it says 2 quotation marks, but that's basically the beginning and the end.
And then end mark after you and then this.
Got that one. And then what goes after this?
Period.
It's actually a question mark.
I see.
They threw one in there. We're used to periods. And so when you write it, the question mark goes on the inside of the quotation marks, okay?
Okay.
When you rewrite it down here. Okay, good, Michaela. That's awesome. You got it. All right. Any questions about that page? No? Okay. I forgot to get my little eraser. Oh, that'll work. Okay. All right. So what I want to do first, as far as the binder, is look at your homework. Josh wasn't able to turn his in yet, so what I'm going to do is just pause the recording really quick. Okay, did we do, I can't remember. I was trying to remember if we did the banned words, the banned adjectives last week.
I don't remember that in the recording.
Okay, so it should be in your stack of stuff that you have out for week 6. I don't think we did this one either, so I want to make sure to do that. It's page 67.
All right, I got it.
Oh, good. Okay. And do you have anything written on it yet?
No.
Okay. It was on your checklist, and like I already checked yours, you did not use one of these words, but we do want to make sure to talk about them. So the first one, these are adjectives. Remember the blue page was banned verbs. Yeah, so this one's a little different. So we're going to do good in the first box and then bad in the second box. And basically these are banned because they're boring, and you need to get creative on how you can say good and bad in different ways. So let's talk about good first. What are some other ways to say good when
Great.
something? Great, yeah.
Amazing.
Yep.
Terrific.
Yep. That's a good one. How about wonderful?
Yeah.
We could do awesome. I use that one
Yeah.
a lot. Awesome. Or delightful. Excellent. Splendid. One we don't use very often, but I like that word, splendid. Okay, that's a pretty good list there.
Yeah.
Or did you think of another one?
No, I can't think of anything else.
Okay. How about bad?
Horrible.
Okay.
Terrible.
Okay. Awful. Horrific. Or miserable. Could use the word like difficult. I have a list here, so I know it's hard to think of these things off the fly. But like painful, or like if you have a bad cough, you might say a nasty cough.
Unbearable, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's good. Is it EAR?
I think so.
Let me check. Unbearable. Yes, it does. I spelled it right. Woohoo!
Hey.
All right. That's good. I mean, I'm out of space. So, but if you think of others, or you can always look in a thesaurus for more ideas on how to say good or bad. So now these are banned. They're on your checklist as banned. On your checklist too, it says -1 point for each. I'm still being nice about that. I'm going to give you guys a couple more weeks with that. But then if I start seeing them, I will start taking points away on your homework. So you probably noticed that your homework is 10 points each. So I might start taking away some points there for banned words. So watch out for those. Okay. The other thing I want you to get out is your last time we took some class notes, should be with your stuff there. And we kind of went over summarizing a reference. Man, last week was Halloween. It feels like Halloween was like a really long time ago already.
It does.
Last week. It's so weird. But I think this is what we talked about last time, right? Do you have that page?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So we did some class notes. I'm just going to have you add a little bit down at the bottom here. So go ahead and skip a line, and I'm going to have you do like a little T chart actually down here at the bottom like this. The T chart. And on one side, I'm going to have you put subject, and then on the other side, topics. That's what we've been talking about. And we did a lot of this in the last class that you took with me, so I'm not going to go over it too much this time because I know you guys both know what those are. But with this specifically with Jackie Robinson, so I'm just going to, underneath subject, put Jackie Robinson. And we already talked about how he was a legend. So that was one of the topics. We kind of went quickly last week because we had so much to cover. I don't think we got to talk about other possible topics within this article. So I think what I want to do now is just kind of look back on the article and kind of glance through. I mean, we did talk about in the beginning here how he was a legend. This is pretty much where you focused most of your information for your first paragraph of your report. So this was kind of his background, like why he was a legend and what he did and all of that. It talks a little bit more about his experience as a legend here as well, but I think it talks some I don't know. I just feel like for me, and I don't know if you feel this way, but I kind of need to reread some of this stuff because I'm trying to remember what it was about. I don't really know Jackie Robinson, and I'm not really a baseball fan, so I don't know if that's what you feel like too. But anyway,
Yeah, I only really paid attention to the first paragraph because that's all I did.
Okay, cool. So let's refresh our memory here. And it left off with why is Jackie Robinson a legend? And this was some of that they already mentioned, but it keeps going here, but it talks about other things. So let's look at this. He broke the color barrier in baseball. Robinson became the first Black man to play Major League baseball in the United States, Branch Rickey, owner of the Dodgers, knew Robinson would suffer from others' prejudice against Black people, but Rickey hoped Robinson would be able to take the heat because he recognized his nature, or his mature, humble personality, not to fight back. That's what he told Robinson. I knew that integrating baseball, is that in?
I think it's interrogating, maybe.
That's what I thought too, but there's a G there. Integrating.
Oh.
Integrating.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Whew. Man, I need some more coffee. Integrating. Oh my gosh, why is that word so hard? Okay, was bigger than any one individual, and I would have to do whatever I possibly could to control myself. So he's basically saying here that, you know, during that time, being a Black person was difficult just alone. And then integrating baseball. So he's talking about then being part of baseball is another difficult thing to overcome here. So Robinson later recalled, many fans in the stands cheered for Jackie Robinson, but in the dugout and off the field, he was meanly treated. He didn't fight back. He took the heat. Robinson broke the color barrier in April 1947, and within 3 months, 3 more Black men crossed it too. So he was influential in the Black community, is what I get from that paragraph there. Mm-hmm. And I think that was an achievement of his, as well as baseball, because he did have reasons to be a legend just by baseball. But how can we say his life, he was determined, huh? He was determined to not let the criticism and all the stuff that was happening around him. I think he really felt in his heart that he had to show the world that he could still do. He was gifted in baseball. I mean, not everybody obviously has those kinds of stats, like from the first paragraph where he's just really talented. But, you know, the average person, and maybe if they're Black, would have said, I don't need this. I don't need the criticism. I don't want to put up with that. But he had it in his heart to prove that he could still do it. So I wonder if we could put like determination as a topic here. So on your notes under legend, do you have another word that we could use there, or do you like that word determination?
I like determination.
Yeah, I do too. I think that kind of sums up, as a Black person, how he was just determined to keep going and to show the world that that's not going to stop him. He also, well, let's turn on the back here. Whether facing death threats, protecting his family, or intimidating the other team with his power and speed, Robinson's nonviolent behavior showed the world how people of character endure trouble. His courage opened the door for other Blacks to enter professional sports. It was what he had been praying for over 100 years. It's what we've been praying for, explained Buck O'Neill, a manager in the Negro American leagues. Robinson's jersey number 42 was forever retired across baseball. Jackie had made the sacrifices to be a great athlete as well as a peace-loving role model. The man practiced effective leadership habits. Robinson focused on results. Several team members despised him at first, but the proof was in the pudding. Robinson brought in more runs and stole more bases than they did. After pro ball, he studied new skills in order to succeed as a TV sports analyst, a vice president of a corporation, and a co-founder of a bank. Robinson balanced work and family life. He made time for his wife and 3 children. The man supported a cause that helped other people's well-being. Robinson worked to gain civil rights for Blacks in America. The legendary Jackie Robinson strove for excellence and led others to do the same. I wonder here, so I'm looking for topics. Other topics here, because you're going to have to come up with 2 more topics for your last 2 paragraphs about Jackie Robinson. And I'm thinking his sports achievements. I mean, we already kind of talked about some of those things. Yeah, you pretty much talked about that when you talked about the legend part of his life. But he was determined. There was determination. He was determined even while he was being criticized. I wonder how we can put that as a topic. Maybe what we can put here is endured criticism. And then I'm just going to kind of like put brackets around these together because they kind of go together. He was determined and he endured criticism. That's basically kind of one and the same. He didn't let that stop him, even though he was being criticized. And then at the end, it kind of talks about what he did after baseball. There's a few things they talked about on the back. Because he went.
Other achievements, maybe?
Yeah, other achievements.
Life after sports.
Yeah. I like that. And another topic that I think would be really good is his character, because it does talk about his character. Like, he didn't fight back. I mean, it kind of goes with determination and endured criticism. So you're going to have to try to, in your mind, take out some of those things and separate them out because you have 2 paragraphs left to write. So what you need to do is figure out what topics you want to focus on for those last 2 paragraphs. Because it talks about back here, leadership habits. And I don't know, that's part of character. He was a leader, and he also, it talks about back here, he balanced work and family into life and made time for his wife and children. He supported a cause that helped other people's well-being. So I wonder, could we put character maybe for the last part there? Meaning his personality, meaning what made him who he was as a person. We know what made him a legend. What made him a legend was his success as a baseball player. But then there was more to his life than that. So for your last 2 topics here, because we're quickly running out of time, what do you think? We already did legend, so we'll put a check mark by that one. What do you think you want to do for your next 2 paragraphs?
Which 2 come first in like in the paragraphs? The determination and the.
Yeah.
But I feel like that also goes with the character. So you have to like.
I know. It's hard to separate these out. I'm looking at that second paragraph there. It's mostly talking about his criticism that happened. So what if you did endured criticism and then you put determination and character together? You could do it that way.
Yeah.
You want to do that? So I'm just going to circle endured criticism and put paragraph 2. And then maybe connect these 2 with arrows. I know I'm making a mess on your notes here. That could be paragraph 3. And if you want to combine life after sports, but what I wanted to help you do is on your keyword outline. So let's look at your keyword outline really quick. So you've already got that first one filled out. So we're going to focus on number 2 here. You decided endured criticism. So maybe we could just put JR for Jackie Robinson. And we can put endured criticism. And then if you want to think of one more word to describe like an overview of what that was like for him, and then going into the facts here. Remember, these are the facts. You can stop at 5, but if you find 6 and you want to have 6, you can have 6. But basically everything that supports how he endured criticism would go here as far as your keywords. And then number 3, his determination and character. I kind of like that too. So we can put JR. When you're going through this though, Michaela, if you're finding that these are blending together and you want to change that, you can, okay?
Okay.
I'm putting an extra line there in case you want to add something else to that topic. So because we're out of time though, I'm going to have you work on this on your own for your homework. And then go ahead and write the last 2 paragraphs for your report on Jackie Robinson. And then make sure to follow the checklist and watch out for the banned words and stuff like that. So that's basically your homework assignment. Did you have any questions about that?
No.
You're good? Okay. Okie dokie. Let's see. Yep, we are there. So let me stop recording.